Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Grandma's Teeth, Nagging Horses. How are you guys doing today? How's life? Do you have any idea what are we going to do today? That's right, we're going to work on... Well, it's not infinite, but that was more dramatic. But in order to achieve that, we're going to have to craft a ton of items, craft a ton of machines, and also do all the auto crafting along the way, so that we don't have to repeat those processes ever again. You agree, right? You should. It's a little bit laggy and this guy is crafting, I don't know why. So the auto crafting is complete and we can get down to business. The first item that we need to start crafting is called the molecular transformer. It does not have a horrible recipe, but there are things that we need in very large quantities. For example, the carbon plates. At first I wanted to go green and use the biocarbon, but at this very moment I don't really care about the environment around my base, so we're going to go with the actual carbon. Just remember that we are trying to reorganize and automate everything as we go along. So if I'm tearing down my entire ME system, do not be worried, everything is fine. I just needed to move our dense cables from here to here so that I can better organize the machines. I just had to do a ton of rewiring of camera so that I can set up this hallway, and I think we are good to go. Essentially what is going to happen is that we have a P2P tunnel, so we have 32 channels over here, and we're going to have 28 assemblers. Not in one day, over time. So for example, this polarizer that we have over here has to go. Where does it go? It will go under the staircase. We have slots for 14 machines. So you, my dear friend, you have been relocated. Be happy. Here is your interface. I also gave it a generator and power, and here are your patterns. And just to make sure I did not mess up, yes, we still have it. So now the fun stuff begins. You come with me. There are a few assembling machine recipes which do not require any circuit inside them. An example of that are these. I just also realized we need a bit more assembling machines. Because I think if we divide them, it's going to be better. This is going to be for EV. The second one is going to be for HV. The first 3 machines on each side is going to be the assemblers, which do not require any circuits. So we need one more. Then we're going to start with the assembling machine, which requires circuit number 1, which is going to be here. So I'm guessing by now you guys get the gist. The first 3 ones on each side is going to be the ones without a circuit. The fourth one is going to be circuit number 1, and then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, as long as it goes. Okay, so you see, 1, 2, 3, these are the empty ones, then 1, 2, 3, 4. And we have circuit number 4. I think that will make it so that it would be much easier to find them. It's going to be on both sides, but we don't have enough material to make like 200 assemblers. It takes time. So now let us get crafting. We need carbon. There is a very high chance that we are not going to be short on carbon, but if we are, we can always convert a diamond dust into a stack of carbon dust. So here is a pattern, here is an electrolyzer, which will go under the staircase with the relevant pattern. I forgot I have to put them on auto output. It's awesome. More clicking required. So carbon inside an autoclave is going to give us raw carbon with molten polyethylene. We do have an autoclave, we're gonna take it. And since I'm using most of the machines here, I take one combustion generator too. So I talk for like 30 seconds, then I have to do 40 minutes of rewiring. We had some cabling to do, and I'm really trying my best to make this thing as neat and as clean as possible so that it doesn't get confusing. This is fuel, this is polyethylene, this is rubber pulp, and this is the ME. So we were trying to make the raw carbon fiber, which requires polyethylene. There is a tank here for water, which I think I was using it for a cutting machine. Now we are going to use it for polyethylene. Because the pipe is literally down here. Yep, it can go up. I haven't dyed in a very long time, and imagine if I dyed polyethylene. That would be fun. So this is getting full of polyethylene, that is good. We buy the cables, and also neodymium. These are the rare stuff, I don't want to craft them. Anyhow, we have polyethylene inside the tank, here is a pump, here is the autoclave, which already had a pump, here is your recipe, and you should be good to go. So, hi, now we need an assembler with circuit number 2. That gives us the raw carbon mesh. That raw carbon mesh has to go inside the compressor to give us the carbon plates. And therefore, this is the final pattern. So obviously we're not going to craft every single item like this because it's going to take ages and we are not going to do everything on camera, but I just wanted to have an example for you guys so that you will know how the base is going to operate. So I'll be crafting the other parts, and I'm also going to automate the basic machine casing and the advanced machine casing, and I will meet you right back. Also, depending on how many robot arms we can have 7 assembling machines, so I'm going to add more. Actually, just before I make a very long cut, there is one thing that we should do together. we need to make our first molecular assembler. This guy, which requires an EV assembling machine. Cause here's the point, I have reached my first recipe, which is just a shaped crafting. And if I really want to have full automation, well, this is not gonna work if I have to make it by hand. Of course, this is more like an FYI thing, otherwise making it is not that complicated. You see? There you go. I am going to cry on the day that I have to break this. So, first molecular assembler. Are we good with power? Yes, it has been a while and it has not been the best of whiles, so I'm just gonna craft that stupid thing, give you a very small update, and I'm gonna go to sleep. So first off, whenever you're playing a normal mod pack, they tell you that if you have an interface, you should have more molecular assemblers. This is GregTech New Horizons, it's exactly the opposite. We're going to have multiple interfaces and one molecular assembler. Cause you know, it just has to craft like one stupid thing and then it's done. Although this is going to be like this for the moment, later on when our base is upgraded to IV, EV stuff are going to be extremely cheap. So we're going to have tons more. Talking about EV stuff, we have our first EV machine which is hooked up to the applied energistic system. And just for one stupid recipe, irradiant uranium. It has HV combustion generators, I'm not producing anything EV. And talking about assembling machines, here is the whole of assembling machine. And they have also been coded with numbers and this side will also be the same. It's not complete yet. Another thing that I have noticed is that we need 2 more extruders. Didn't you make me the piston? This silver cable is always causing problems. I don't really know what's wrong with it, but it's okay. We have our second extruder. And there you go. The reason for that is I need to process a recipe for a pipe, and also if I want to make the kinetic generators, I need to make the shaft, which has another shape. You know, just to make absolutely sure that we are never going to need any extruders, I'm just gonna make one more extruder and call it a day. Very cool. We have 13. Anyways, I have also set up a lot of patterns in order to make this molecular transformer, so let us get started. We first need 2 HV transformers. I already made one cause you know, you have to set the patterns. Very good, we have 2 of them. We need 4 advanced machine casings. So there you go, nothing is going wrong, everything is fine. It's just a silver wire, all the time. Actually, while this one is crafting, I should show you something fun. I have a turbo combustion generator on top of an interface. And I went through the entire base, I can't find it. Maybe that's what's wrong with the silver wire. Anyways, advanced machine casings. Oh, by the way, I noticed that if I put this monster repeller inside an arc furnace, I will get iridium. I don't know if I should do that. This one does not have a recipe because apparently I just need it for this recipe, but the other parts do have a recipe. We need thick neutron reflectors. Again, I had to make one because you know, you have to set in the patterns, but there you go. It also requires a new alloy which we didn't have until now, and it's called tungsten carbide. I don't know if it was a good idea to have a pattern for this guy, but I did notice that it is used in fusion coil blocks. I don't know how many of these we need, I don't know if we actually need them or not, but since making it was a pain, I thought I'll make the pattern. You see, it's already painful. We also need 4 of these glasses. I did not set a pattern for this one because this one was in a molecular assembler. Oh, and by the way, we got some uranite and I'm actually using that in order to get uranium-238. That's our production of uranium. And this is why we have the EV assembling machine. Are you still crafting? Yes, it's done. And if that is the case, I should be able to make this. Thank you. And obviously everything has to go inside the QED, so there you go. Here is the recipe. Make it. Thank you. This is the best thing ever. It doesn't need any power, it has particle effects, it looks nice. This is a great moment for me. Molecular transformer. Which is not a quest? Oh, it is. Just as a curiosity, I can make nether stars with this, right? No. It has been removed. I also think that this guy has no limit on voltage, so if we hook it up anywhere, it should not have a problem. Base is fine. And I'm alive. And obviously the entire reason that we needed this guy was to make sonarium. From glowstone. How long is it gonna take? Hours? Millions of hours? It needs 10 million EU. We put you here? I'm still alive, nothing has exploded, that is good. Oh, it wasn't even working at HP. It's EV. Ah. Anyways, I go to sleep. See you in the morning. Did I mention I want to go to sleep? Well, I'm still awake. I broke my carpet. I was gathering some resources, doing some maintenance around the base, and then I noticed something very interesting. I did mention that you cannot put a drilling fluid inside the cell, and that is very true, but you can put it in a big cell. And you can carry it. So yes, it happens. However, this is not going to stop me from making the bedrockium drum because I think this is a far better recipe as a tank. Because I have just made a recipe for super tank tier 4 which can hold 3200 buckets of any fluid. The bedrockium drum can hold 6500. It does not require any circuits, it does not require any material that we need for our own base, so I think it's much more worth it. Besides, it has double the capacity. Also, don't get me wrong, I am going to use super tanks from GregTech because they look nice, but other than that, we're going to use bedrockium drums. So here is our first super tank, tier 4. But this new revelation means I can use my drill. Hello, someone's dying. I don't care. I was going to say that at least for the moment, we can run the drill. Temporarily. Good morning. Last night I ran into a very big problem, and that was, my world would not save. So if you guys remember, 5 minutes ago in the video, I made this cable to there, and also this pipe to here. Anything inside this chunk was not saved. It was not only that chunk, there were other problems around the base. For example, this chest, I have placed it down 20 times. The game would not save it. Anyways, I decided to update the pack and it didn't work out very well. I am going to post a separate video about updating the pack, because whenever I mention something in an episode, there are a lot of people who will miss it. But long story short, I cannot update the pack, this is the version that we're going to play on, and if things look weird around the base or with the game, I'm sorry. So if you see the journey map like this, do not be scared, everything is fine. Or I don't know, if the Wayla is wrong or something is wrong, well, I had to reconfigure everything. And there is a high chance that I could have missed a few stuff. In other news, we have an issue. With the upgraded coils, we are actually processing steel every second. So the piping was not sufficient, we have to upgrade it. Okay, our world seems to be safe and sound, let us get down to business. Everybody's recommending to me that I have to go with a nuclear reactor, which eventually I have to do, but for the moment, in order to generate some EV power, we're going to have kinetic generators. So the basic one is going to make us 500 EU per tick, then there is an upgrade which will increase it to 2048, which can also be upgraded to IV, ZPM, and the other one. I don't know what that other one is, and it's probably far, far away. Also, I'm not a fan of having floating structures high up in the air, so instead of going with windmills, we're going to go with watermills. I have set up all the patterns and this should be just crafting. Our first extreme crafting. We need 2 shafts, some double stainless steel plates, some rotors, titanium gear. I did not set up the pattern. Did this memory thing happen again? We put you here. So we load the game. You're still there. Okay. Maybe I really forgot about the pattern. I highly doubt I forgot, because I did make 2. Anyways, back to the list. A battery. We have some GT Platinum from nuggets, which I do need to convert them into wires. And they did require the stupid method of coating them, but it's fine. Oh, I have to remember the recipe. Ooh. So if I put something inside, will it stay there? Yes, good. Battery, motors, workstation, wires, and that should be it? Yes, perfect. Kinetic generator. That should be a quest. Yeah, that is a quest. So why didn't you ring the bell? Oh, stainless steel casing. Yes. This is not good. My piping is messed up. It's fine. We're going to use another cutting machine just to finish the quest. And I'm going to take the workstation. So let me fix my issues, then I'll be right back. Okay, did I mention that we're going to make 1? No. We're going to have 4 in total. If you take a look at the recipe, I need 4 kinetic water generators in order to make 1 higher tier water kinetic generator. For the kinetic generator, I just only need 1. Cause in total, I'm hoping to have at least 8 of them, but obviously we can't do it today cause these are kind of expensive. But nonetheless, let us make the water generator. Oh, I need more shafts. Yeah, I need 16. What was I thinking? You know, if today we manage to make 1 of these guys, I'll still consider that quite an achievement. That is 2. I need 2 more, but if my plan works, that should give us 8 amps of EV or 2 amps of IV. And yes, I'm waiting for plates. That should give me 1 more, and we just have to wait for the shafts. I'll tell you what, in the meantime, I need to figure out this thing. Cause I'm crafting higher tier of cables manually and it's not really working. I'm not gonna automate it, but maybe craft something in bulk? Just in case I want to make a few hundred cables, that's it. So it has been a while and I did manage to make a few of these bars and I did make a ton of foils. We almost have 1500, we have a few bars on me and there are tons of bars getting prepared, so we should be able to make a few thousand advanced cables. Therefore the extreme crafting can continue. If my mainframe is ready, yes, it is. So the first thing that we are going to need is the sonarium battery, which did require sonarium, and this is why we made this stupid thing. I'm hoping that you're not blind as me, but this is called blue steel, and it's not tungsten. That caught me off guard for a while. We also need 1 go to hell. Yes, that gives us the battery. Why aren't you a quest? You should be a quest. You're sonarium. Oh, I have to keep 8 of them in my inventory, okay. You know, I do have a feeling that with black steel, blue steel and so on and so forth, they're just coming up with names. They don't really exist, do they? Anyhow, we also need some sonarium dust, which is not actually these guys. It's the big guy, which requires 9 of the smaller pieces. That goes inside a canning machine. Thank you, thank you. And hopefully we should get the battery, maybe. You know, the moment I close the interface, it's gonna be ready. Oh, I turned you off. Aha. Sonarium battery. We need it in order to make the kinetic generator. And we only need one. Oh, and by the way, if I have not mentioned this already, these are dish. It's not tungsten. So this is something that you can only craft if you have been on Mars. We actually have a ton of dish. Can I make the telepad? Oh, quantum eye. Okay, later. Very expensive rotors, some gears, 2 mainframes, some tungsten wire. And by wire I meant cable. Ladies and gentlemen, extreme voltage kinetic generator. And I just have to craft this guy, which is not going to be a problem. Oh, I need 2 more mainframes. Oh, we can make it, good. Actually, I should have dropped these guys inside. That would have helped. It's a very good thing that we have 4 crafting CPUs, because all of them are busy. Granted, they are extremely garbage, but it's very useful. Okay, we get the 2 pumps, EV machine hall, tungsten, and mainframe. No, that could take some time. Why is it taking so much time and no one's working? What are you missing? Did you mess up the recipe? Yeah, if you want to craft a ton of items, you cannot do it in one circuit assembling machine. Good to know. I should remember to do them independently, not order mainframes, start from HV, then go to EV, then go to IV. And finally, with those 2 mainframes, here is a kinetic water generator. And that should be another quest. Thank you, thank you. Okay, so I was checking this, and it seems if you mix 4 large lithium batteries, you get a quad lithium battery, which is EV. So I don't have to go with sonarium, because that's kind of expensive. Not that the other one is cheap, but you know. Anyhow, this is a kinetic water generator, and the only places that we can place it down is either inside an ocean or a river. Obviously, I am going to have 8 of them, and they're not going to fit inside the river. So what are we going to do? I have a solution. We need some sand. That is probably enough. And we are going to hollow out the river by, I think, 2 chunks. But we have to make sure that it's an actual river. Oh, it's just temperate and non-temperate. Okay, it's still a river. For a second I was worried. Of course, by talking about 2 chunks, I don't mean literally the entire chunk, I mean an area of 15 by maybe 7. So yeah, that is 15 and this is 7. And this is another one. Let me fill them in. Now that we have 2 platforms, we need to dig down until bedrock. And by we, I mean poor me. Well, I dug until bedrock, I filled in the gaps, and then I noticed something stupid. As a person who actually went to a creative world to understand how far the distance between rotors and generators should be in order to function, I should have known better. This is really wrong. You cannot put the generators in a row back to front, you have to put them side by side. Well, just to correct myself, you can put them back to front, it's just that the distance cannot be 15 blocks, more like 50. All of that being said, welcome to the new hole, which I just dug. And don't worry about the miner, the job of the miner was to remove the small ores. And also a big vein of lazurite. I'm extremely short on sodium and I was like, yeah, what the hell, we get them. Also, you might be asking yourself, Lash, you just said that you have to place a generator in a river. This is in the middle of the land. That is absolutely true. We have to dig a new hole. No, I'm joking. Actually, if you read, this is a river biome. This is also a river biome. And if you even come here, this is also a river biome. Although these patches of grass which look incredibly ugly, they're not a river. So we're good and we are still in a river biome. I have flight, right? Yes. And just to double check, here is the generator. And it's only telling you that the rotor is missing. However, if I come over here and place it here, only works in oceans and rivers. Although I do have to do some redecoration around the base, but that's not very urgent, we will do that next episode. For the moment, we just want one generator to function. Okay, now we have a few things to do. We need to divide this area by 2. This part is going to be for having the cables and performing maintenance like changing the rotors, and this side will be filled with water. And it has to go all the way to the top, so this could take a while. And since I'm completely going to fill it in with water, we need to raise these walls. We can't have holes. Cobblestone is not something that we're short of. Yeah, I think we're good. I don't see that many holes left. This should be the final one. So now we raise the central platform. Well, Aegon can be something that we're short of. I'm hoping not. Yep, I have to make some. Maybe not. Just as a very small clarification, the distance that you have to place down the generators depends on the rotor that you're going to use. Different rotors have different sizes, they have different durability, and they generate a different amount of power. The smallest one is the wooden one. The ones until carbon are basically garbage. The carbon one, which is something that we can try, has a radius of 4 blocks. The one that we are going to go with is called vibrant alloy, and it has a radius of 5 blocks. But the one that we are going to eventually later on going to upgrade all the rotors to is the iridium version, because it's unbreakable and gives you the most amount of power. And this one has a radius of 6 blocks. Therefore, just to make sure, we have 7 blocks on this side, 7 blocks on this side, 7 blocks down, and 7 blocks up. And also here will be the same. Everything that I have just mentioned means that our first kinetic generator goes here. And it's facing the incorrect way. I didn't want to do that. Like so? Yes. Because you know, this guy is not going to generate you the power, this is going to make kinetic energy, and then we need the actual kinetic generator to make us the power. So the rotor is going to go on the other side of the wall, this side, and the generator and power itself is going to be on this side. So let me set up all the measurements and I'll be right back. Okay, I have done the measurements, and each dirt block that you see over here is a place for a generator. So we're going to have 8 of them in total. Theoretically, each of the generators is going to give us 1 amp of extreme voltage. Of course, we don't have them yet, we have only one. It will come a little bit above ground, but that's not going to be a huge issue because this time I actually made it centered with our base. So we can have a nice structure for it and maybe also a bridge. But I know what you're thinking, Lash. How are you going to fill it in? There is something called a floodgate. It's a block from Buildcraft and it's going to fill in the entire place with water sources. And the best part is it doesn't really require any type of fuel. You just give it water and watch it do its magic. No? Yes. It took a little bit of time. So if we actually go down, you will notice it's filling it with source blocks. Of course, this is a massive area and it's going to take a tremendous amount of time, but again, we're not in a hurry. Because I don't need the power at this very moment, I'm going to need it in 2 or 3 episodes and well, we're basically preparing for the future. Oh, and by the way, one more thing. In real life, you never see a dam or a reactor or whatever in the middle of the city. What they do is that they make the power far away from the city, then they will increase the voltage to extreme amounts and they will carry it through high voltage cables. Now that we are going to make 8 amps of extreme voltage, we can actually bump it up to insane voltage, meaning that it's going to be IV. And you might notice, yes, even in IV there's going to be a loss of voltage in the cable, but that loss of voltage is negligible. The cable can carry 8000 volts and it's going to lose a teeny tiny bit on the way. With something like low voltage, this wouldn't have made any sense because after 16 blocks, you wouldn't have any power. But with higher voltages, longer cables are an option. Maybe also superconductors, but we're not there yet. Anyways, we have one generator, we are filling it with water. Now what we need is to make the rotor. And as I have already mentioned, we're going to go with vibrant alloy. The problem with vibrant alloy is that in order to make the parts, you need an EV extruder. So I'm assuming, let us see if we can make one. Oh, it's cheap. Oh, nichrome. Jerk. Oh, that's nickel. I was happy. Nichrome is with nitrogen and it takes 200 seconds. I'm assuming with tungsten steel it's going to be much less. Yeah, 50 seconds. We just divide it. It's faster. So I did manage to make the nichrome wire, I did set up some patterns, and this should be easy peasy? Yes. Thank you. We have the extruder. That's it. Now we need to have a ton of vibrant alloy. We don't have a ton, we have 168 and a few of the dust. Which, can I make 100 more? Oh, chrome. Yes. It takes chrome. But in any case, for our immediate future, we only need to make 2 rotors, and that's 4 of these. So, you go over there. Here is your mold. And make me some shafts. 512 seconds. That's crazy. Does it say that in the recipe? Oh yeah, I missed it. I'll be back, I guess. Actually, technically we only need like 2 of them, so it's gonna take 15 minutes. For the moment, what I should probably do is to get rid of the titanium. One of our main shortages was magnesium, but this guy has 150 stacks. So we're good. Really good. Well, as it turns out, 1000 seconds is a lot of time, because you can see the progress of this guy. And that's kind of good, because one rotor should be completely submerged, if I'm not wrong. Oh, it's dark. Yeah, that should be fully submerged. That's nice. Of course, the rotor itself is not finished, but I was also checking the superconductors, and the insane voltage version is not that bad. It just requires indium and vanadium. And I have tons of vanadium. Oh, it's ready. That's the second one. That means hopefully we should be able to make the actual rotor if we had the chrome ring. Thank you, thank you. So the rotor is not a quest. No. This is just for testing purposes. Let us see how much power it's going to give us. So this is the water generator. This is the actual generator. And just in case, I'm gonna cover it. So they're facing each other, and if I give you the rotor, we're getting 1000, 2000. We're getting a lot of power. It fluctuates. But you see, the durability of the rotor should also go down. Yeah, it's at 99%. I don't really know what I did when I was in the creative world, but I could see the durability. Here I can't. It's fine, who cares? No, you're lonely. And also if you look down the water, you can see the actual rotor. Iridium one is 1 block longer, so yeah, we needed the space. Of course the building itself is not finished and I have to really work on it. I should probably take out the rotor. Because you know, I'm not extracting the power, why use it? But this is full. Anyways, we need to work on this building in order to make it look nice, which we will, and someone actually suggested that maybe we should have a building episode. And considering the fact that our base is growing at a rapid rate, maybe we should. And in the meantime, I can also work on getting some resources. You know, like indium. But with that, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's also a good time to wrap up the episode. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it. Till the next one, bye bye.